From the far reaches of the Milky Way galaxy, it's Retro Nerd Girl with a film review for you. Today I'll be reviewing Chasing Amy, released in 1997, starring Ben Affleck, Jason Lee, and Joey Lauren Adams. Directed by Kevin Smith. The synopsis for this movie: a comic book artist falls in love and finds many surprises about his lover and himself along the way. The genre is drama, romance, comedy. The rating is R for strong graphic language, sex-related dialogue, sexuality, and drug content. My rating is an 8. The story setup. Okay, first we have Holden, who is a comic book creator. He and his best friend from high school, Banky, put out a successful comic book called Blunt Man and Chronic together. At a convention, Holden meets Alyssa, and they immediately have a connection to one another, both being comic book creators and both come from the same town in New Jersey. Holden discovers that Alyssa is a lesbian, and you would think that's where the story ends, right? But it doesn't. It gets a little interesting as Banky, who's afraid of losing his bestie, finds out some dirt about Alyssa's past. We get the title Chasing Amy from a story that a young man in the film tells. He falls in love with a girl named Amy, but then he ruins it by his insecurity. Basically, his insecurity gets the better of him and ruins their relationship. They break up, and he spends his whole life chasing Amy, chasing his memories of the love he once had. Chasing Amy also is referred back to again in a comic book later on in the film. You know, to be honest with you, this isn't really my kind of movie. Well, at least I thought it wasn't my kind of movie. From the trailer and the TV spots I saw when it came out, it really didn't appeal to me. I saw it for the first time yesterday, and I have to say it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I found myself very engaged. It leaves you thinking, and it's a very smart film. So I enjoyed it a lot. The pacing for this film was an hour and 53 minutes. We're pushing up on 2 hours, and it's a little much for me. I felt it could have been snipped a little bit here and there to be a little tighter and could have just enriched this movie just that much more. The story itself, it is a romantic comedy with a lot of unconventional spice and its juicy topics that, they continue long after the movie's over. They go into many tropes about homophobia, sexual expectations, idiosyncrasies, communication, stereotypes between men and women. They kind of dance around deeper questions. For challenge, not so much. I really felt like there wasn't really much of a challenge except for Holden's internal struggle, which sometimes it was compelling and sometimes it just wanted to reach in the screen and hit him. I'm like, what is wrong with you, boy? Wake up! And if anyone in the story could be the villain, I guess you could say it would have been perceived as Banky, who was trying to save his relationship with Holden, his bro love. It creates a lot of tension, but it's just, he's coming from a very concerned place, just looking out for his boy. And he's very skeptical of Alyssa, even though he's not entirely wrong about her. She didn't have to keep as many secrets as she did. I really felt like the challenge was self-imposed more than actually presented with a real, serious problem. But no less, the making of a great film, because in this film, it's not the challenge that's really entertaining. It's how people react to the challenge, the monologues that they give. For empathy, not so much either. I was very indifferent to Holden. I didn't really like him, and I wanted to like him, but I didn't. It's not a bad thing because Holden is actually the audience's avatar. We're actually experiencing the story through his journey, which is cool. We don't really have to like him. I just wanted to see how everything played out. Technically, there were a few things that I felt would have never occurred in real life. And some things that were very unlikely. The dialogue was really good and felt very genuine. There's a moment where Alyssa is pouring her heart out to Holden, and they're just laying in bed. That dialogue is so juicy, so rich. Those are the best things about this movie, is the rich dialogue. With only $250K to make this film, $250,000 to make a film that looks like this, wow, it's a complete masterpiece. And I'm not kidding. It's really awesome for that price to make a film that looks so good. Actually, I'm super, super impressed. For performances, the performances were stellar. I thought Ben Affleck really delivered an amazing performance, playing a very mixed up guy in love. I mean, he's just an average guy, right? Nothing special to him except for he's a comic book writer, but he doesn't seem to have any weirdness or any tics or any problem. And he's just a mixed up guy in love. He plays that so well. Joey Lauren Adams really performs her role with this delicate sincerity. It's very touching the way she delivers her lines, and that really elevates this film. When Holden discovers Alyssa's gay, that scene really tickles me. His mouth drops, and there's like a sound effect that goes with it, and it's hilarious. I thought it was really funny. There's also a great scene involving Jay and Silent Bob, and I always love those two characters. They were really fun. I won't ruin it for you, but if you can get past all the name calling and stuff, it's really a good scene. The worst is definitely just the pacing. The pacing is just about the only part that could have been tweaked, and it doesn't tank the film at all, and it's not really a big complaint. It's like if you were looking very deep and if you were looking for something to complain about, it's the pacing. For my wish list, and in no way is my wish list an attack on the film and to say that something was wrong with the film. This is just something I personally would have loved to see in the film. I really, really wish I liked Holden more. I just didn't. I wasn't rooting for him, and I definitely didn't understand why Alyssa liked him. At first I thought Alyssa was just using him just to get more business, but no, she really does like him, and I just couldn't figure out why. I can understand why someone would like Alyssa though. She's cute, adorably outgoing. She's got lots of cute little quirks, and she's just adorable. But Holden is just there kind of reacting to the world around him. And in fact, I actually thought Alyssa and Banky had more chemistry together. There's a scene where Banky and Alyssa are sharing stories that I thought their connection was pretty incredible. I actually thought they were going to be a couple. Or at least, maybe they would become friends. But all of a sudden they were enemies the next day. I didn't understand that. Also, I wish that there was more of an emphasis on the struggles that Alyssa may have had to go through being a lesbian suddenly in a straight relationship, right? And I felt that was a topic that was completely just glossed over. I mean, in the movie, it just seems like no big difference, no big deal. But I'm sure there were many, many sacrifices, changes, and things that she would have to go through psychologically and externally to deal with this new kind of relationship she's never had before. It would have felt really great if Holden actually knew the sacrifice she was making to have this relationship. The ending to me was a little surprising and a little disappointing to me. I think I can live with it. I still had a great experience watching this film. This film is uniquely touching, and it's not disappointing as a whole. It wonderfully blends the real world with this ridiculous idea, and it's almost offensive, but somehow it pulls back. So you're like, oh, that was kind of fun. That was funny and interesting. And it's interesting that I felt that way about that. that's how you're actually personally engaged in the story. And I feel like Chasing Amy is filled with a lot of amazing monologues written within the dialogue, which I think is Kevin Smith's secret power. Is his secret superpower, by the way. And it's done with this honesty and charm that makes his film stand out as a gem to me. And I can't say how much I really, really am surprised that I like this film as much as I do. So that sums up my review. I hope you liked it, and please make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting many more reviews. And let's keep this discussion going. Leave your rating for the movie and why in the comment section. Take care, movie lovers, and I'm off to my next review.